Nepotism is a word that has been thrown around a lot ever since the demise of the actor Sushant Singh Rajput. Personalities like Karan Johar, Alia Bhatt, Ananya Pandey have all been under a lot of fire and have been attached to this word nepotism. But before we discuss this any further, let's get the definition of nepotism out of the way. In the definitions, the jobs we refer to in our situation is acting, directing, producing, or anything that is related to the film industry. Bollywood, like any other industry, has its share of nepotism going on. But the problem is that share is way too big. Fun fact, here's the family tree of the Kapoor family, the oldest family in Bollywood, and here are the number of family members in that family that are in the industry. That's pretty big. So far, nepotism has been represented under a bad light. It's been thought of something evil in which people with power control who gets chances and who doesn't, and to a lot of extent it does seem that way, but not 100%. Nepotism, if done in moderation, can produce great results. For example, Ranbir Kapoor, son of Rishi Kapoor, for the two of you who don't know, is a great product of nepotism. He has given us films, given us performances that are honestly some of the most amazing performances that I've ever seen, and I literally can't imagine anyone else playing that role. It's so ingrained in my brain. Another example would be Alia Bhatt, and of course not talking about her past, but to some extent she has improved herself, given us amazing performances in films like Razi and Gully Boy, and of course our fair share of memes. The point I'm trying to make is, you don't choose where you are born, who you are born to, what race you're born as, what gender you're born as, the religion that you're born with, and the money you're born in. You don't choose any of that. I didn't choose that, you didn't choose that, and no one gets to choose that. What happens is, God gives you your cards and says, "Ye re tumhare patte. Ab khelo." You got to play your best with the hand that you've got, and that's how it is with these celebrities as well. The products of nepotism. And going to all the social, it's something that I've noticed, going to their social media accounts and in the comments spreading hate, saying negative things, it only spreads hate, and nothing productive is accomplished, and it bothers these people to the point that they have to restrict their comments, because it does get really ridiculous. I was checking out the Karan Johar's and Alia Bhatt's Instagram many times, and the comments were awful. And nepotism is not largely at fault. I'm not saying it's not a problem, it's a huge problem, and it's definitely more than half of the problem. Actors, directors, and all the people in the film industry can only do so much to promote someone in the film industry. It becomes up to the audience whether or not we accept them or we don't. Here's a list of the top 10 highest grossing films, Hindi films of 2019, which was last year if you're watching this in 2020. And all 10 of them have actors that are associated with someone in Bollywood in some way or the other. So something is clearly wrong here. Well, it's us. The problem is us. Where do you think this money comes from? Our pockets. If you think of it, by going to the theatre and watching movies like these, encourages them to do more, because in their brain this shit works. Again, this is all just my opinion. You can differ, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying that nepotism is not a problem. It's a huge problem, and I've mentioned that before. But what I'm also saying, that we as audiences are also a huge part of the problem. We choose to indulge in these movies all because of the hype of an introduction of someone related to someone else in the film industry, whether it be some huge actor's daughter or a huge actor's son or a nephew or whatever. And we choose to go to the theatre to pass the time and just watch whatever is on. So what's the solution? To be honest, I don't know. I can only say what I've done, and I really can't remember the last time I went to see a Bollywood movie. Now that I think of it, I actually can. I went to watch Raees back in 2017, 18. I've just fallen out of it. And I'm not trying to preach here. It doesn't mean that you stop watching all Hindi films as well. It's just how I've dealt with it personally. But here's the thing. There are some movies that we know instinctively are going to be good, or bad just by the trailer and the promotional material and all that stuff. There's a small number of films that catch you off guard by being surprisingly bad on their opening day, and that's extremely rare. Usually, you can tell beforehand if a movie is going to be good or not. So, if you know a movie is going to be bad, don't go watch it. Just wait for it to come on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hotstar or 20 other streaming channels that are there available right now. Or just wait for the reviews, look at the rating, and have a conscious decision of where we as audience are putting our money and what we're indulging in. Now, of course, that does not mean that we only watch the best of the best movies that our industry has to offer. Average goofy movies are a lot of fun to watch as well. But there's a huge difference between movies that are made for casual viewing and the movies that are just money hungry and are just outright hot pile of shit. So let's not indulge in them. That's what I think. That's my opinion, of course. Fanboy culture is something that has been a trend in our country in the past few years, and I've personally been guilty of it. Wait, let me show you something. Alright, I can't find it, but I might have a picture which I'll put up here. I was a huge Shah Rukh Khan fan for a lot of my early teenage life, and I was obsessed with him. My room was a wall of my room was filled with his posters. I got inspired by that movie Fan, which came out I guess in 2016. I went to watch Happy New Year on the first day and contributed to that enormous amount, the record-breaking amount, that the record that still stands to this day of the highest opening day collection. I was an idiot. I guess everyone in their lives do come to a point where they're really obsessed with the celebrity, whether it be an actor or a model or a sportsman or a sportswoman or anything else. There comes a time in your early teenage years, I guess, where you get so obsessed with them, your whole world starts revolving around them. Or maybe it was just me. But I think it's very important to grow out of it. Now, I understand that these are important people. They are entertainers and their work acts as a medium of escape for us as normal people from our day-to-day lives. And I appreciate that and I respect them for it. And that's where I draw the line. Putting them on a pedestal, putting them on a pedestal and worshipping them does no good to anybody. And watching their movies multiple times just so that they can get an edge over their rivals only makes both of them richer. Some of these actors could not make a movie for the rest of their lives and live extremely luxuriously, if that's a word. Live extremely luxurious lives is the point I'm trying to make. And then when something like this happens, something so sad and a huge loss for the industry, when something like this happens, we get angry at them and we curse them and when we say horrible things about them and we try to boycott them. But at the same time, don't you think that maybe we're kind of at fault here too? Because if these stars are huge stars, they like that kind of because of us as well, because we go to watch their movies, that fanboy or fangirl culture is still there, and to the point that I think if Einstein was to resurrect and stand beside Salman Khan or Tiger Shroff for that matter, more than half the people around would take a picture with Tiger Shroff and not even know who Albert Einstein is. That's just my opinion. I think it's like that from what I've seen. Whatever it is, we do when something horrible like this happens, we stop looking inward and we start just projecting everything outwards. I know this quote comes to my mind and it says, "Be the change you want to see." And I don't know who said that, but whatever it is, I think it's really important for us to follow it when it comes to this situation as well. Instead of spreading hate on these actors' social media pages, let's look inwards, let's reflect on what we view as audiences, what we really enjoy and what we really don't, and what we're indulging in. And yeah, anyway, this was Milk, by the way. This is over and I've spoken way too much. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. This was just a little thing I just wanted to say, and I'll see you next time.